Now at 10 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, a Victoria suspect faces charges of continued violence against a family.
A Texas judge has recommended overturning the conviction of a mother on death row. The details in this 2007 case tonight.
And the Salvation Army of Victoria Life Enrichment Center is a busy place in its first month.
Tomorrow we'll see a lot more cloud cover over the crossroads, but what about that rain? Well, it looks like it'll be here on Saturday night. We'll have all the details coming up in a moment.
And Edna stunned Columbus to keep their playoff hopes alive, and we could have East and West Part 3. That's in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. Governor Greg Abbott was in Victoria today. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick spoke with the governor earlier just this afternoon.
Adarius, what did you and the governor discuss?
The governor mentioned school vouchers and fentanyl. However, his top priority is to keep enforcing strict border laws.
There are 3 laws already passed by Congress they are not enforcing. Texas has stepped up and done all 3. My job as governor is to make sure we decrease illegal immigration 100%.
Governor Greg Abbott supported Senate Bill 4, which grants Texas law enforcement the authority to conduct arrests and deportations without federal oversight. The controversial law was met with mixed reactions. We spoke with Raices, an immigration advocacy group, back on April 1st. They questioned the moral implications of the law.
If you're putting political points and or resources above the value of human life, why? Why is it that that's okay for that person?
Critics describe the law as unconstitutional, unfair, even dehumanizing and racist. What's your response to those harsh descriptions?
Those are just talking points, and they don't know what they're talking about as it concerns what the law does. What the Texas law does actually authorizes law enforcement in Texas to do exactly what Congress is ordering the President of the United States to do, because the President is not doing that.
The law awaits approval from the U.S. Federal Appeals Court, but Governor Abbott says if the court follows the Constitution, they'll approve the law.
If the courts strictly follow the Constitution, they should uphold the law, because in the past, when states pass a law that are consistent with federal law, courts uphold that.
Abbott made sure to mention what the state continues to do on the border.
We are building border walls, we are denying illegal entry, and we are detaining and arresting people who come across here illegally. Illegal immigration into the state of Texas has gone down by about 70%.
Conversation, Governor Greg Abbott addressed concerns about school vouchers impacting public schools and the fentanyl crisis in Texas. Listen to this in our full interview on Crossroads Today's YouTube. Back to you guys at the desk.
Adarius, thank you. Now, as we mentioned, Governor Greg Abbott was in Victoria today, and he endorsed Jeff Bouknight in the May 28 runoff election for District 30.
Here's your viewer poll tonight. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. Here's the question. Does Governor Abbott's visit today affect your vote? This actually is a little bit closer than it was at 6 rather, but not much. 97% say no, 3% say yes, and as always, we thank you for voting. Police in Cuero are investigating the death of a 52-year-old man. Tuesday, someone found Martin Luther Heron in a backyard at a home in the 100 block of Milligan Street. At this time, authorities believe the death was an accident. It appears Heron fell and hit his head. The Travis County Medical Examiner will conduct an autopsy to determine the exact cause of death. Tuesday morning, Goliad County deputies stopped a stolen truck from another jurisdiction as it was passing through on its way south towards the border. The 25-year-old male driver from Laredo was arrested. Authorities have not released the name of the suspect. He remains in the Goliad County Jail in lieu of $45,000 bond.
Victoria police arrested a 30-year-old suspect Monday. Ismael Cardinelli is charged with violation of a protective order and continuous violence against a family. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of a $60,000 bond. And Victoria County deputies arrested a 30-year-old Victoria suspect. Amanda Salazar is charged with manufacture and delivery of a controlled substance, money laundering, tampering with evidence with intent to impair, and having a prohibited substance in a correctional facility. She is held in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of an $80,000 bond.
Port Lavaca police arrested a 29-year-old suspect Monday. Nicholas Esparza faces 4 charges of aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury. Esparza is in the Calhoun County Jail in lieu of $44,000 bond. Let's take a first look at your forecast with First Orange Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. We had one of those like tennis days, you know, cloudy, sunny, cloudy, sunny, but Mac, mostly cloudy?
Yes, you know, you can do the tennis ball thing going back and forth, but mostly on the cloudy side, few rays of sun here and there. But tomorrow, to me, it's interesting that our temperatures are in the 80s. If the sun had poked through the clouds, we would have gone into the 90s. Tomorrow, we're looking at about an 86, but some areas out west that are going to be in the sunshine are definitely going to be looking at higher than that. We'll take a look at your temperatures, your cloud cover, and the potential for rain this weekend coming up in just a few minutes.
Mac, thank you. A Texas judge recommended the conviction and sentence of a mother on death row be overturned. The judge found prosecutors withheld key evidence that would have prevented Melissa Lucio from being found guilty in the 2007 death of her 2-year-old daughter. The evidence in question, a Child Protective Service report and interviews with Lucio's surviving children. The case now returns to the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals. That court 2 years ago halted her execution 2 days before it was to be carried out.
A Russia-linked hacking group is suspected of carrying out a cyber attack on a water facility in the Panhandle in January. U.S. cybersecurity firm Mandiant says the hack caused a water tank to overflow for about 45 minutes in the small town of Muleshoe. Officials eventually took the machine offline and switched to manual operations. The incident did not affect drinking water in Muleshoe. If confirmed, this would mark an escalation of Russia targeting U.S. critical infrastructure.
The issue of abortion continues to play out in Arizona after House Democrats failed to repeal the 1864 law making abortion illegal in nearly all instances.
But Democrats say the fight is not over and they plan to repeal.
The state of Arizona continues to be ground zero for the abortion fight. Republican lawmakers in the House of Representatives defeating Democrats who attempted to repeal one of the toughest abortion laws in the country, a law in place more than 160 years ago.
We're talking about a bill that was passed before Arizona was even a state.
But Republican lawmakers arguing they oppose abortion and need more time to discuss the law.
The last thing we should be doing today is rushing a bill through the legislative process.
Arizona is one of 21 states to ban or severely restrict abortion since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Donald Trump has boasted of nominating 3 of the 5 justices who overturned Roe.
We broke Roe v. Wade, and we did something that nobody thought was possible. We gave it back to the states, and the states are working very brilliantly.
But the former president adds Arizona went too far. The issue sure to galvanize voters come November. Up to 14 states, including Arizona, could include abortion measures on the ballot. The lone Arizona Republican who voted with Democrats to try to bring the repeal vote to the floor said he was encouraged a vote could happen next week.
Make no mistake about it. This law will be repealed. There are enough votes in this chamber to repeal the territorial law. It will happen. It's just a matter of time.
Meanwhile, in the state Senate, a new abortion ban repeal bill was formally introduced and had its first reading Wednesday. The earliest it likely could be voted on is in 2 weeks. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Here's some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. Cedar Family Dollar is expected to close after their parent company, Dollar Tree, announced the closure of 600 stores in March. Plus, the Port of West Calhoun is seeing an increase in feral cat populations and announced plans to remove and relocate the cat population elsewhere. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com.
The Salvation Army of Victoria Life Enrichment Center is a busy place these days. Since its opening on March 13th, the center has served 73 clients. The Life Enrichment Center is offering educational classes. They include cooking well with diabetes and learning to budget on a limited income. The free medical clinic at the center will open May 8th, and the Texas A&M Medical Residency Program is sending interns to work at the clinic. The Salvation Army of Victoria headquarters is located at 1302 North Lewis Street.
Early voting for the May 4th election starts next Monday, April 22nd. Early voting will be at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center, 2805 North Navarro, Classroom A. Early voting hours for the first week are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube, and you can see Darius's interview with Governor Abbott tonight. A report on the deadly wildfires in Maui last November shows massive communication breakdowns. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, the full details in that report.
Also ahead, a whistleblower for Boeing testifies on Capitol Hill on the safety of Boeing 777 and 787 jets. A new report shows the head of Maui's Emergency Management Agency dragged his heels about returning to the island as wildfires ripped across the island last August. That, along with a broader communications breakdown, left authorities in the dark and residents without emergency alerts. The report released today says there were also communication problems encountered by the Hawaiian Electric Company. The report is the second of two major assessments out this week regarding the deadliest U.S. wildfire in a century. The Biden administration published its new student loan forgiveness proposal. The public has 30 days through May 17th to comment on the details of the revised aid package. This aid package targets specific groups of people and the interest on the loans. The Biden administration hopes this more targeted approach will avoid the same legal challenges that sunk the first proposal. More than 40 million people hold student loans in the U.S. with a total value of around $1.6 trillion. A Boeing whistleblower testified on Capitol Hill today with serious allegations about the safety of certain Boeing models.
He claims part of the plane was not put together properly and could fall apart years later. Boeing says that is wrong.
Today, a Boeing engineer spoke out on Capitol Hill about his employer.
I'm not here today because I want to be here. I'm here today because I felt that I must come forward.
Sam Salapore claims the Boeing 787 Dreamliner could fail over time because he believes it was put together improperly. He accuses Boeing of taking manufacturing shortcuts by ignoring gaps in the fuselage to save time and money.
In a rush to address its bottlenecks in production, Boeing hit problems, pushing pieces together with excessive force to make them appear that the gaps don't exist, even though they exist.
So far, Salapore has not provided any documentation to support this claim. Boeing calls the claims inaccurate and says it is fully confident in the safety and durability of the 787. Boeing strongly disputes the allegations, and this week the company invited cameras inside of its South Carolina facility, where senior engineers explained how Boeing tested the fuselage, simulating 165,000 flights with no issues.
It's actually the longest fatigue test of any commercial airplane that's ever been run.
The FAA reviewed and approved Boeing's production quality after the issue was first raised years ago. It's conducting another investigation into Salaport's claims industry experts say warrant many questions.
We got to pay attention to our whistleblowers, but when you hear somebody conflating things a little bit, I begin to be concerned about their overall message.
Salaport accuses Boeing of retaliating against him after speaking out. Boeing says it encourages employees to speak up about any issues. It also says reports to an internal tip line for quality control are up 500% this year. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Eli Lilly's popular weight loss drug Zepbound may help people with obstructive sleep apnea. In clinical trials, the company found people who used Zepbound had fewer breathing events while sleeping than participants who got the placebo. They also lost weight. The company is still evaluating the results, which have not been peer-reviewed, but plans to submit them to the FDA to potentially expand the use of Zepbound. Communities need to have a plan in place to eliminate all traffic-related deaths and severe roadside injuries.
But recent data shows fewer communities have such a plan than what you might think.
If you answered no, you're not alone. A recent report from the CDC found that only 1 in 12 U.S. towns and cities have such plans in place. It's better known as the Vision Zero Action Plan, which has been more widely adopted by major cities compared to smaller towns. It's a nationwide effort to eliminate the number of traffic deaths or severe injuries among all road users. Communities can set action plans by identifying priorities for roadway safety, lowering road speeds, transforming four-way intersections into roundabouts, and more, in order to promote public safety by preventing severe crashes and traffic-related deaths. Here's how you can help. You can talk to your local and state leaders about what it takes to become a Vision Zero community, work with members of your community and leadership to start a conversation about traffic safety, and join this nationwide effort to make roads safe for all. With this Medical Minute, I'm Perry Russum, ABC News.
Here's a look at some of the top headlines in the Cuero Record. The Cuero City Council appoints Shannon Henson for District 1 and welcomes a new city police officer. And the city of Cuero prepares for early voting. Read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com.
And good evening, everybody. We're looking at 74 degrees right about now. Easterly winds continue blowing. Of course, they're gustier during the afternoon. We managed to get up to 84 today. By the time we get to the weekend, we should be in mid to upper 80s. And then, of course, is the question, are we really going to get rain on Saturday? We'll have all those answers coming up in just a moment. Well, good evening, everybody. Of course, another day of a lot of soupy weather. We had a little bit of fog early, but the visibilities were above 2 miles visibility, so that was okay. That's kind of the situation for tomorrow because we've got all this moisture on top of us. I know you see a little green spots here and there, and that's the moisture that's heavy in the cloud deck, but I don't know that it's actually hitting the ground, so we're just going to continue with all this moisture on top of us. Earlier this afternoon, there were some storms that fired in the mountains of northern Mexico. They got very close to the Rio Grande. You can see right about there in Del Rio. We'll go back a little bit and you can see them right about there. And of course the upper winds are steering them in this direction, but the thing is, once the sun goes down, the heat collapses and the vertical movement collapses as well, so not a problem as far as we're concerned. All the big stuff have been occurring in the Midwest and of course the Ohio Valley. Last night and pretty much today, Ohio Valley really got slammed with I'm probably over 100 reports of 1-inch hail around the area, so if anybody had trouble last night, it was up there. Here's severe weather that was possible today. You can see that's right along where those storms fired. Now tomorrow, we have a bigger chance, but that includes basically Dallas, the Hill Country, and almost to Del Rio. However, it's once again, they'll pop in this area and they'll collapse once the sun goes down. So I don't believe that they're going to be getting into the crossroads. However, out west, San Antonio is possible, and so we'll be watching it, but it's not really in our forecast just yet. What we do have for sure is temperatures that are going to be in the 80s until the weekend. Oh, Sunday, look at that. Pretty nice. 73, 75. I'm excited. It could be the last high temperatures in the 70s we're going to see for a while. But notice that while the cloud deck is over us, we'll be in the mid 80s. While the cloud deck is going to be breaking out west, they'll be in the 90s. So that's one advantage of having the cloud deck around. So you can see on Future Tracker how the deck of clouds will continue over much of the coastal bend and of course the crossroads. There may be 1 or 2 rays of sun right about late in the afternoon hours. But again, tomorrow afternoon, we have that potential of popping some storms way out here. So we'll just watch them for you, but I don't expect them to come visiting. That's kind of what I'm looking at. For tomorrow, we're looking at generally cloudy skies all day long, getting up to an 83 in the afternoon hours. There'll be a break or two in the cloud deck, late afternoon, maybe 3 to 4 o'clock, and that's about it. For Cuero, we're looking at temperatures getting into the upper 80s because you may have a few more breaks in the cloud cover. So in the morning, overcast. In the afternoon, maybe a partly cloudy situation. So the next 7 days, there you go. Overcast and a little sun, and then overcast and more sun on Friday. That's why we get to 88. And then here's our little front, comes in on Saturday night. It does look like it will bring us some shower activity. I don't expect it to be severe because the atmosphere is not that volatile yet, but it will give us some rain until Sunday morning. And then by Sunday afternoon, it clears up. And then we have a couple of days with temperatures in the 70s. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Now it's time for sports with Zach Brown.
Thank you, Meg. One NBA player gambled and lost for life. I'll have that in sports. Tomorrow evening at the Youth Sports Complex, Victoria East is going to welcome Gregory Portland to town. North Zone and a shot at the playoffs on the line. Last time the Titans faced the Wildcats, they lost 8-3 and got swept in the season series. It's tough to beat a team 3 times in one season. Titans hoping a third time's the charm, trying to get their biggest win of the year tomorrow night. Victoria East baseball has suddenly found themselves in a tight race for the postseason, and they did not help their cause last night. They fell to Ray 6-1, and we have quite the scenario on our hands. If the Titans can bounce back and beat Ray this Friday, they will play Victoria West on Saturday for second place in the zone. If they lose, they will play Gregory Portland for a shot at third in the zone. Edna's playoff hopes really hanging in the balance, and with the state-ranked Columbus Cardinals coming to town, seemed even dimmer. But the Cowboys stunned the Redbirds 3-2, handing them their first district loss on the year. They look to get another big win Friday when they play Palacios. The NBA has banned one athlete for life for violating its gambling policy. Last month, the league announced it was investigating anomalies in bets pertaining to Jontay Porter. The NBA probe found the 24-year-old gave confidential information to sports bettors, limited his participation in one or more games for betting purposes, and bet on NBA games. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver released a statement calling Porter's violation of the league's gaming rules blatant. The NBA said in a press release the league is sharing information with federal prosecutors. The league's investigation remains open and may result in further findings. NBA play-in last night. Golden State just did get in as a 10th seed, taking on Sacramento, and the Kings really took control in the third quarter. Keegan Murray had 32 points for Sacktown. Steph did all he could with 22 in the game, but Klay Thompson may have played his final game as a Warrior. He did not score a single point and was 0 for 10 from the field. The Warriors are out. But the winner of this game was guaranteed a playoff spot. The battle between the 7th-seeded Lakers and the 8th-seeded Pelicans. Lakers leading by just one, less than a minute to go. But a D'Angelo Russell big three just about does it for the Lake Show. They go on to win. They will face the Nuggets in the first round. But the Pelicans not done yet. They will play Sacramento for that final playoff spot. Day one for the girls' regional golf tournament scores are in. Bryn Passmore of Calhoun finishes day one tied for 53rd, shooting a +32. Trinity Morgan, also of Calhoun, tied for 58th. Lenny DeMarce out of Cuero comes in at +34 on the day. And another Calhoun sand crab, Lily Gossett, is in at +34 as well. That is it for your sports. Donna, Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Zach, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we're going to take a last look at your weather with Mac. Plus, we have the answer to a question nobody really asked for. How long do bumblebees survive underwater?
Victoria County Sheriff's Office K9 Max received a bullet and stab protective vest. It's thanks to a charitable donation from a nonprofit organization Vested Interest in Canines. This potentially life-saving body armor for four-legged canine officers is U.S. made, custom fitted, and certified. The program is open to U.S. dogs that are at least 20 months old and actively employed and certified with law enforcement or related agencies. Amtrak is taking over the idea of building a high-speed rail between Dallas and Houston. An agreement between Amtrak and the old Texas Central would transfer eminent domain authority for the route, environmental approval, and the okay for the type of Japanese technology they plan on using. Hurdles still remain, such as landowners who don't want to sell. Another hurdle comes from the Texas legislature after they publicly rejected the idea of using state taxpayer dollars to help build a high-speed rail. When I was a young man back in we did take a train from Houston, where I grew up, to Dallas, and we saw lots of wide open spaces and all that. And if we did the same thing today, we would see lots of wide open townhomes and subdivisions.
Maybe a Costco.
Maybe a Costco or 200 or 300, yes.
It was a thing until the
yes.
1940s and 50s.
And 60s.
Now they probably want to spend money to widen the freeway, which will get full immediately instead of building the light rail, which we should have built.
Or build a tollway.
They can get more money out of you that way.
I have experience with that too.
Yeah. Well, folks, we're looking for another cloudy day tomorrow, but still on the warm side, so you'll be out in t-shirts. We're looking for even hotter weather on Friday as we expect more sun just before that frontal system comes in on Saturday with a little bit of rain by Saturday night into Sunday morning. But then a couple of days of temperatures in the 70s. We'll enjoy that.
Alrighty, thank you, Mac. A question no one has ever asked for: how long does it take a bumblebee to drown? Well, Canadian researchers found the answer completely by accident. They were surprised when they accidentally submerged hibernating queen bumblebees in water and found that they survived for a week. Scientists are still unsure how they even survived, but they say it's also possible they can breathe through their skin while submerged. What do we do with this knowledge?
Well, I thought this story was about to take a different turn when you were talking.
I thought they found the answer as a result of a sting operation, but I don't know.
Where do you think it was headed?
Well, I thought you were going to say they all died.
No, they survived, and now what do we do with this new information?
Water for a week. What else am I supposed to think about?
What a crazy thing to do. Alrighty, well, thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10.
See you at 25 News Now Sunrise at 5 a.m. Good night.